Okay, so
Steve Visconti.
Steve Visconti and I'm Paul Condor, and we're going to be bringing to you Paper Wars. So we're going to be taking a look at the WWF and their monthly pay-per-views, starting with the inception of In Your House, and we're going to look at WCW pay-per-views that went head-to-head with WWF pay-per-views of the same month, and see which company put out the best pay-per-view for the month. And we're going to be going down, rating each match and show on the five-star basis. So this week here we're looking at In Your House on Mother's Day of '95, and that's going to be opposed by the 1995 Slamboree. Are you excited?
I was excited before you made me watch Slamboree.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be everybody involved.
Yeah.
So for In Your House 1, it was at the Onondaga County War Memorial in Syracuse, New York. It was 7,000 people in attendance, and the buy rate is ridiculous. Do you know what the buy rate is for this?
Was it good
332,000
for the first In Your House?
for the first In Your House. I mean, that's silly.
Well, In Your House concept when it first came out was also like $20 a month. It was new. It was a brand new thing they were trying out.
No, it was 15. It was 14.95 for the
That's
first
right.
one.
That's right. It was
Right.
$14.95. Yeah, and it was the 2 hour show.
Yep.
It was a monthly show. It was I loved the In Your House concept.
In Your House concept was great because Raw was only an hour at the time, so you basically just have a glamified Raw where it's an extra hour and you're paying $15 for it. And the matchups were good. We're going to go through the matchups within Your House first. Before we get to the snooze fest of Slamboree, we're going to open up with a bang on this YouTube channel, and then we're going to put you to sleep after. So on commentary is Vince McMahon and Doc Hendricks.
Yep.
How they can get away with that is beyond me. Everyone
Doc.
knows it's Michael Hayes.
Yeah, but there's no way Vince was going to bring him in as Michael Hayes.
No, because he represents the South.
Southern wrestling.
Right, it's Southern wrestling. So Doc Hendricks is there, and Doc is hit or miss in this show with commentary, but one thing is for sure that he makes very clear in the beginning is that he has golf privileges at this house that they're going to be giving away during the house segment, which is the first time this has ever happened in wrestling. So first match on the card, we open it up. It's Bret the Hitman Hart versus Hakushi. What stands out about this match?
It was just a great match overall. You know, one of the best matches of 1995. Definitely, I'd probably say the best match that WWE had in 1995. Just a really good match overall. You know, this was, I think, was this Hakushi's first match in WWE?
No, because he had an undefeated streak coming into this match, so this was a big deal.
So this was him. This was him facing the best that WWF had at the time, Bret. And Bret did a great job just making him look so strong in this match.
Right, and to be noted with this show, Bret Hart's going to be wrestling twice in this show. So with the Raws leading up, he was scheduled to wrestle Hakushi, and then Lawler, the sneaky snake that he is, comes
On
in.
again, off again.
Yeah, but he comes in and says that he wants to wrestle Bret Hart at the first In Your House when he already knows Bret Hart's got the match, which is great heel work right there.
Yeah. The King was great on this whole show.
King
He
was great.
wonderful.
I mean, the match starts off at a great pace.
Yeah.
I like the communication between Bret and Hakushi, but one thing that does throw me off in this match is that there's a USA chant with neither wrestlers from the United States.
Well, yeah. I mean, Bret is kind of from USA, except in '97. You know, I mean, but yeah, I know. Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, Bret's just super over everywhere he goes in '95. But with the USA chant aside, this crowd is super into this match.
Yeah,
It's one of the
for
things
good
I
reason.
noticed.
It was a great match. And it definitely held up. You know, not a lot of matches from '95 are going to hold up 25 years later, but this
No.
one definitely did.
Not at all. And then you have the cutaway to Lawler in the back, which just tells the story more, where he's sitting at the monitor watching the match, cartoonishly close.
Yep.
And this then, the finish of this match stands out to me, too. You just have all these great spots, one after another, going into the finish. You have Bret diving onto Shinja from the outside. And then there's the double spill suplex. Once he gets back into the ring, they go open over the top to go back out of the ring. And then when they're back out of the ring, Hakushi hits Bret with that moonsault from the rope, which is something you just don't see in 1995 mainstream wrestling.
No, you really didn't. Hakushi was a great worker for '95.
Yeah.
He didn't really stick around for long. I think he had like one more pay-per-view match and then he was done.
Hakushi was just the victim of Vince McMahon at the time.
Well, he was a small guy, too.
He was a small guy, but if you watch this match, you could, what kind of match would he have been able to put on, let's say, with like 1-2-3 Kid,
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog. I mean, these are guys that he could have worked with and had great matches. They just never gave him a chance.
One thing that really stuck out to me about this whole show is just how big everybody was. Like, wrestlers just aren't that big anymore. And, like, geez, everybody, it seemed, was just, like, monstrous. Like,
It was a transition period.
yeah, like, these guys were, like, like, the smallest guys on the show were, like, 6'5". So Hakushi doesn't look that big by comparison. I think if he was, like, 3 or 4 inches taller, he probably would have been a huge star.
It probably would be. But just to note, he was undefeated coming into this match. Brett gets the win on Hakushi. But something to be noted here for the storyline of the show is that getting out of the ring while celebrating is Brett twists his knee. So we need to make reference
Great
to this.
psychology by Brett. Twists his knee, and he's selling the knee the whole way back, and Lawler sees it.
Yep.
He wants to start the match right away.
Right away, because that brings us into the next segment, is that we go backstage now to the wrestler hotline, and there's Lawler, who's saying that he wants Bret Hart right now, like he doesn't know about the knee. And then Todd's there, and Todd mentions the knee, and it catches Lawler off guard, and he says that Bret Hart's coming right back here to this room.
Oh, I gotta go.
But Lawler has to go get it. His mom's waiting for him upstairs.
Yeah.
So, that's a good little segment. I like that. But the match overall, what do you give the match?
4.25 stars.
4.25.
Very good.
So I'm going to let you guys in on a little something here. This is the first match of this newly formed channel, this newly formed show that we're going to be doing. I'm giving Brett's match 5 stars.
I mean, I don't
Five.
I don't disagree with that. To me, 5 stars should be like just a generational match. It should be a match that you really don't see at all.
That match is something you really don't see at all
good.
back then in '95 and today, because
that argument.
from start to finish it made sense. The spots for the finish were great. Both wrestlers were on.
Very good show.
It was very, very good.
Yeah, very good.
So once we get past Lawler in the back wanting to start the match, we get on to Jeff Jarrett, who's accompanied by the Roadie against Razor Ramon in a Royal Rumble rematch where Razor had messed his knee up. This match, hit or miss.
This match, the Roadie was the star of the match. And you really started to see, like, that he was going to be a big star.
Yep.
And I think they did have 1-2-3 Kid kind of like conference in, which was a big thing at the time.
Because it was supposed to be a tag team match, but I guess Kid was hurt.
Yeah, I think he hurt his neck,
Mm-hmm.
so he's phoning in from home, which was a big deal in 1995.
It is a big deal in '95.
Yeah,
That's
it is
we've made technological
Yeah,
advances.
where a phone call was a big deal.
A phone call into a live show was a big deal.
Yeah.
One takeaway from this match is that little dance that the Roadie does when he comes in and just kind of wastes time before tagging out. He does that little.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Great. He was great in this whole match. This match was he was great.
I have written down in my notes that the ref sucks. He was really allowing lots of leeway with just anyone coming into the ring whenever to do whatever.
That goddamn ref.
The fucking ref sucks. But there's too many pauses for me in the match.
Yeah.
Too much strutting. Way too much fucking strutting.
I think a lot of that was 95 and just the style at the time, though.
I mean, there was also a spot in the match, too, when it seemed that the match was just about to pick up. Mm-hmm. There was a double down for no reason, which made things drag out a little bit longer. So then when the finish finally came, you went, thank God.
How long that go?
This match, we'd have to look. I'm not certain. I didn't write that down because it didn't. I only wrote down the times of matches that I felt offended by the time. just to like really look into that. Yeah. But after the bell, one of the big parts about the mid-'90s is that we get our first introduction to Savio Vega.
Yeah, Savio came in at the end.
At the end, yep, to help Razor.
Yeah. And they did name him as Savio. Before that he was Kwang.
Kwang, yeah. What an awful gimmick. Yeah.
I liked, they made Savio look strong there, and Razor had that interview, kind of building him up a little bit, and that was the introduction to Savio Vega.
If you think Savio looked strong in this, wait until next week when we do King of the Ring, you guys. because that is just...
I haven't watched King of the Ring 95. I think maybe ever. So.
Well, if 1993 was the Bret Hart masterclass of wrestling,
Yeah.
1995 is the Savio Vega masterclass of getting a push for no reason.
I mean, I like Savio.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wrong with
I don't know.
Savio.
He's not like over to
Yeah,
me.
no, he wasn't.
But after the match, we get King of the Ring promo.
The WWF King of the Ring.
Lawler again wants the match now. He's in the back with referees and officials demanding the match because, you know, he knows Bret's knee is hurt. That's an ongoing thing in the show. I thought this was good cohesiveness for the show.
I really like a lot of these backstage segments that they really don't do anymore.
Backstage segments were great, especially the little time killers here, just to build up even more of how much of a badass he is. After the Lawler segment, in the back we get a Psycho Sid package.
Oh, I love this. I love this Sid
The
promo.
Sid
This is
package, no, the whole video package with his music playing, him coming through Razor's pyro, clipping him from the back. You see that again? I mean, that is just good stuff.
Nah, Sid looked like such a fucking monster for this. He was great.
Such a monster, and it was a great build-up for this match too. But we're not there yet. It was just the package.
Unfortunately, the bell rang.
Unfortunately, the bell rang. Yeah, but we're gonna get to that main event in a second. But going back to Jeff Jarrett, before we forget, what did you rate that match?
2 stars. It was fine. There was nothing really, like, I wouldn't rewatch it on my own, but it was fine. There was
All right.
nothing bad about it.
I give that one 2 1/4.
All right. Yeah.
As we could see so far, I rate a little more higher than
A
you.
little bit. You're a little liberal with your star
Very
rating.
little star ratings. But let's get into it. Now we have Big Boy Mabel against my man Adam Bomb.
This was ugly.
It was ugly. It was a King of the Ring qualifying match. So basically, the winner of this match was going to be in the tournament for King of the Ring, and there's just so many qualifying. I'm glad we're not going over all the Monday Night Raws after this because I don't want to see all the qualifying matches.
No, qualifying. It's hard to do a tournament anyway. You can't, you have to drop one guy to build somebody else up, and it just gets ugly. Some of these qualifying matches.
Tournaments are really tough to book, which is probably why we haven't seen one these days since they revived the King of the Ring briefly.
There are a
with
lot
Barrett.
of things about the show that make me realize that WWE did learn a lot from booking the way that they did in '95. So
I think wrestling as a whole has learned a lot from 1995,
Yeah.
although mainstream wrestling has kind of regressed back into 1995 over the past 3 years. But we won't get there now. So Mabel Adam Bomb,
ugly match.
ugly match. But you want to know what I've noticed?
Here we go.
Adam Bomb is fucking over.
Adam Bomb is not over.
He's over. He comes out. There's a pop with the
they
music.
like the pyro. They don't like Adam Bomb.
But the pyro was last. You didn't open with the pyro. He comes out. He comes out House of Fire. The dude's got so much charisma going to the ring.
I like the wrestler. But I don't think the gimmick really did him any favors.
You like the wrestler?
Yeah.
You loved him in Chronic, huh?
I did. I did actually.
So he comes out, and I want to put in the video. You're gonna see it right around now. There's gonna be a pyro explosion that looks just like a nuclear bomb, and that is just awesome.
His pyro was good.
His pyro was good. Can you name the last time someone had an entrance that good where McMahon on commentary puts someone over, gives him pyro just to have him lose in a squash match?
Not really.
No.
I hope he learned from that.
Yeah, because it was a squash
That
match.
was just ugly.
Why? But also, why put Mabel over? I get it.
Well,
He's
you're
a
gonna push
big
the
son
beat.
bitch.
Yeah,
He's a big son bitch.
he is. He is.
But he sucks.
He does. But there weren't a lot of great workers on the show anyway. But Vince wanted Mabel to be his next big star. Gonna push him as winning the King of the Ring.
I guess so. I
This
mean,
was, I want to note that this.
no
was
spoilers. We're not there yet. That's next week, King of the Ring.
This was Adam Bomb's last match. Definitely his last pay-per-view match for WWE. He ended up being 0-6. Did not win one match.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you see him again later on in the year on a Raw. Could be.
You might. He did go to WCW. Not
He did.
too far after this. So
Well, yeah, he was what's his face too. He was like the villain for fucking Glacier.
yeah, it was, Mortis. I think,
Mortis.
one of them.
Yeah. So, we get the hotline after the match. We won't even go over rating. I gave it a half a star. Did you give it 0?
Yeah, pretty much. The same.
Yeah,
It was,
so-
there was nothing. This was nothing match just to build up Mabel.
Just to build up Mabel. It's pretty annoying to actually have it in the pay-per-view. It totally screws up everything. But Razor and Savio in the back with Todd Pettengill cut a nice little promo at the Superstar Hotline area, and that actually was a very good promo. Both wrestlers got to the point quick. I liked it. And then after that, we transitioned back to the ring, and we have Yokozuna and Owen Hart defend the tag team titles with James E. Cornette at ringside against the Smoking Guns. What did you think of this clusterfuck?
I liked this match, but it was really sad to me
Why was it sad?
because you really started to see
Yoko slow down.
a lot. Like a couple years prior to this, like Yoko was one of the best big man workers in the business, and he was just unbelievable for his size. But he really like started gaining more weight.
He was like 600 pounds at this point.
Yeah, like Owen needed to really carry this entire match.
He did, and Owen took some great bumps. What do I have written down here?
He was great. Owen's great.
Oh, that's right. Before the match even starts, Lawler charges the ring trying to get the Brett match happening.
The Brett match started right away.
Started right away. So that's good. And they cut to a shot in the back of Brett sitting, hanging his head low with an ice pack on his knee, just to sell that even more. And that was basically, like, with this match, all I could think. Like, there wasn't really high spots, low spots.
I think it was the Guns debut.
No.
On pay-per-view.
Not on pay-per-view.
No?
No, because they've been around since, like, 93 with the company.
All right. I'll have to double-check.
You have to double-check that.
This was one of their first matches.
I'm pretty sure they were around long before this, and they had the belts prior to this, too, which is why... I think they're the ones that Owen and Yokozuna took the belts from.
That could be right.
95
was a long time
Yeah,
ago.
and it was probably at the Rumble. It was a long time ago. How old are we now? So I gave this match a half a star. There's not much to talk about, although there is one thing I like at the end of the match after Yoko deals the killing blow on the outside to, I think it was Bart Gunn, when he rolls him in the ring and Owen gets the 3 count. But when they walk away, Yoko throws one last parting blow in through the ropes for no reason, and it is great. It's almost like he felt like he didn't get enough offense into the match.
No, Yoko didn't do a whole lot.
Nah,
Yeah,
he
wasn't in the match for
he was
long.
pretty winded the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, half a star.
Yeah, a star.
A star?
Yeah.
Because of Owen?
Yeah, because of Owen. Owen was great.
Yeah.
And I like the Guns here. They were good.
So then we get a Diesel sympathy promo in the back with Todd Pettengill. One thing's for sure, Todd Pettengill all over this fucking show.
I love Todd.
All
I
over
love
this
his
show.
mullet, too.
Oh, king of the mullets. It's fucking Todd
A
Pettengill.
million mullets on this show.
One thing to take away from the Diesel promo is that he actually says,
I am the walrus, goo goo gachoo.
This, up and down the show, they did a lot of sympathy angles for the
baby
for the
faces.
baby
Yeah.
faces, and sympathy did not work well for Diesel.
No, because he came off as cocky anyways.
Yeah,
And
but
then,
he's a big, huge guy, and it's like he's
Right.
talking about how he misses his mother. And,
Right.
And it just didn't work out well for Diesel.
Right.
He needed to be a killer.
so that brings us out to finally Jerry the King Lawler and Bret the Hitman Hart for Bret's second match of the evening.
Yep.
So we get Lawler comes out with his mom. First of all, I didn't know Jerry Lawler had such a hot mom.
His mom was actually his girlfriend's mother at the time. Yeah, I listened to Conrad's show the other day about that.
That's his, hang on, that's his girlfriend's mother?
That's what they said.
How old was his girlfriend, 17?
Well, it's Jerry Lawler.
And it's Jerry Lawler. But she did a good job. I thought she
great
was
job,
great.
yeah.
And she did a good job at ringside, too, like really cheering on Jerry and just being a shithead as well as Jerry. Like, that was great.
Yeah.
She fit in.
Jerry was great here. It was a really good segment.
So,
Talking about how she wanted to take on Helen Hart.
Helen Hart, right.
After the match.
and it was the way that she said it.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I
was
just
great.
thought she played into the role really, really well. So Bret comes, before coming out, he's talking to Todd Pettengill, reveals that the knee is a hoax. And it's just,
Brett did
that's
this
awesome.
was great storytelling the whole show.
It's just awesome. So Bret comes out over exaggerating the knee. Lawler finally gets a glimpse of him walking normal, starts losing his shit. The match starts right away. I thought that was a great job. You just don't see shit like that anymore where people are just committed to telling a story and not just to do spots after spots.
That's what was great about Brett always.
So yeah, Shinja comes back out and Hakushi interferes through the match when it looks like Bret's going to have another cakewalk against Lawler. Not the case. That first of all, I just want to mention this. In the midst of all this, was the referee Earl Hebner? I don't remember, but he had one of the greatest spots a referee could ever have, being stuck in the fucking rope with his foot.
It's a pretty good spot.
I have never seen that.
No, it's a good spot.
So that was really cool. Hakushi comes out, jumps off onto the Hitman a couple times. Lawler holds him down. Lawler surprisingly gets the win.
Yeah. Keep the feud going.
Keep the feud going a little bit more, although I don't remember them wrestling ever again after
I
this.
think SummerSlam.
In
I
SummerSlam?
think SummerSlam was the Kiss My Foot match.
Could be.
Well, it could have been King of the Ring, but
I think that's King of the... I'm not sure. Like, it's been a while since I've watched these 1995 shows, and In Your House actually was pleasant to watch because it wasn't awful, but we'll get to Slamboree in a second. So this was a good match. I gave it 2 stars.
It was quick, yeah. A couple stars, yeah. It was Hakushi. Hakushi comes in and he gets all his heat back, which I like. And Brett didn't get to do his comeback on Hakushi. Instead, he got it on the manager. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
And then he looked visibly pissed at Earl Hebner for, like, how dare you get fucking stuck at the ropes? This is bullshit. Although he didn't launch into that 97 Brett tirade.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Brett wasn't the promo that he was in '97.
No, he wasn't. As you could see from his first promo of the night where he stumbled through it, and then when he said Jerry Lawler, and then just stared at Todd Pettengill for what seemed like an eternity, and then just said, your history.
Brett got a lot better as the years went on.
Actually, I feel like Brett got better quick.
Yeah,
he
he
left
did.
in '96,
Yeah.
came back, and he was just a better
Amazing.
promo cutter.
Amazing.
Must have been his time with Lonesome Dove. So, we get a Sid promo. I love Sid promos.
Because they're like Warrior and Savage promos.
No,
They don't
because
make
a
any sense.
Sid promo makes sense. The way the camera's shot on him,
He doesn't have to say much.
He doesn't
just
say
blinks his
much.
eyes a million times and he's good.
I love it. Give me that every time, and I'm going to be down for
I
it.
miss it. I wish they would do like a return match.
He came back for the 1000th episode of Raw.
Did he?
Yeah, when remember that point in time when Heath Slater was there, taking all the bumps from the legends. He'd come out every week, and then he came out and one time said that he was the master and the ruler of the world, and then that didn't fucking fly well with Sid. Because Sid came out and he said, "What'd you just say you were?" Gave him the fucking last rites, and it's all over. So after the Sid promo, we have the house giveaway. How cool was that?
I love the house giveaway. Was my favorite thing on the show by far. I mean, I love the Brett Hakushi match, but this was just so great how Todd Pettengill got it over. They were so excited to hear the story of how they gave away this house. Vince just, I was listening to the Conrad show, and he's just like, he just told Jerry Briscoe, just go out and buy a house. He's like, I want you just to go out today, find a house, like $150,000 house. You to go out and just buy this fucking house,
And it was on a golf course.
Yeah, it was just this house in, I think it was like in the middle of Florida.
Yep.
And
It was Orlando, I believe they said in the
Yep.
pay-per-view. Yep.
it goes out and buys this house, and they have this whole, they said, I think they said on the show there were 340,000 envelopes in this big tub.
That was a tub, and I remember Stephanie Wyant came out and the first time,
was
and
great,
she
too.
stood next to it, and it looked like she was just going to get swallowed by this
Yeah.
big tank of envelopes. Like, it was crazy.
She was great. Todd Pettengill was great. This could have been such a train wreck of a segment, and they were just so amazing putting it over, and I really like this.
I want to know how much of this was just Todd thinking on the fly, because he came out and said that we need something for these envelopes. Stephanie said, how about a rake?
Yeah.
And he said, where did I see a rake? He brought out the rakes. They raked it for 2 seconds. It seemed pretty pathetic. Then Todd just said, fuck it, and picked up Stephanie and just dumped her into the whole thing, and then she ran around the envelopes. That was great. And then the person winning, that was cool. And then just so we could cement this home, Doc said that there's a 7 a.m. tea time, and he'll be there. He needs you to get him at the airport, and be ready to go for some golf.
The kid who won the house
He
was-
sold it.
What?
He sold it, right?
Yeah, he was a 6th grader.
Right.
So his father took the house, and they sold it within 6 months because of the huge tax bill.
Right.
And,
Probably still came away with some dollars. That's
well,
pretty
that
cool.
money ended up paying for his college education. So
That's awesome.
wrestling,
Wrestling pays.
eventually, wrestling does pay off. Bad shows.
So to the main event, we have Psycho Sid with the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase at his side against Big Daddy Cool himself, Diesel, for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. What'd you think?
I thought this was awful.
Why was it awful?
This was just a slow, plotting, predictable match. The worst thing on the show for me. You know, you could say Mabel and Adam Bomb was also really bad, but it was really short. This thing I think went 12 minutes, and it was just really bad to me. Like, it did not hold up over time.
You don't think it told a good story?
I don't really think that they could barely move in there, and I just didn't really like what they were doing. I didn't think it was a good style, and I think WWE has gotten a lot better with not putting these two kind of guys in the same match at the same time without anybody else that could work.
Before you give this a star rating, did we ever say what the Brett versus Lawler star rating was?
I'd give it. Yeah, we did. We said 2 stars.
Yeah, 2 stars. Okay, so what would you give this main event?
Half star.
A half star.
Yeah.
So
Those
here's
guys I don't really like.
here's what I think we're gonna do. We're gonna give the breakdowns of what I rated matches and what Steve rates matches. So when you're watching and you say, I agree with that guy or I disagree with him more, you could look at what we grade him and be like, you know, maybe I'll watch this show because the guy I agree with is on the money, whereas the guy that's rating things
Maybe
way
you're
too
a
low.
sneak guy. Maybe you hate all these matches that are just slow plotting guys, and you agree with Steve.
But
That's good.
it's 2 big guys. They're limited, right?
You are, but I'm not. That doesn't save them.
No, but what did save them was that they had a match that was cohesive and it told the story, and there wasn't really a fuck up. It was fluid.
This would have been a lot better if it was 5 minutes.
Actually, yes, it would have been a lot. But if it was like a Brock Lesnar match, it would have
That
been
would
much
have been fine.
much
But
better.
in 12 minutes.
But
was
in
way
12
too
minutes,
long, so a lot of
but
wrestle-
in those 12 minutes, I mean, if it went shorter, we wouldn't have had that awesome Sid face when he came down from when Big Daddy Cool was in the ground position, and Sid was above him, giving him the fucking what was it, the camel clutch.
Yeah.
He had that on him, and he went to go do a sit down on his back, and Diesel moved, and when he hit the mat, the look on his face was priceless. Or no, it was when he was powering out.
Yeah.
The Sid face. Oh my God! So I gave it 2 stars.
All right.
2 stars. That's where
like
we
the match?
differ. I like the match. Big Daddy Cool Diesel retains the belt due to disqualification. Everybody and their mother comes in and interferes. And yeah, that's about how that match ends.
Yeah.
Which is the only way you could have a match that they built up the way that they did with Big Daddy Cool and Psycho Sid, where there's no real winner and they both looked pretty strong.
I mean, yeah, they both look strong. Nobody really got buried here. It was just really a continuation. I mean, and you'll see a lot of that on the In Your House shows, where it was a lot of just like continuations of feuds until we get to a bigger pay-per-view.
Right. Yeah, the In Your Houses are like appetizers at this point in WWF, where I think like the next great In Your House, like great one, is probably Buried Alive.
Well, that was like a year and a half.
A year and a half after this. There's
There were
not.
some I liked that were in the meantime.
I mean, shows as a whole.
Yeah,
The
I
Buried
mean,
Alive one as a
yeah.
whole was.
Well, Buried Alive is. I can't wait to get to that.
So I rate this pay-per-view 2.5 stars as a whole. What would you give it?
I mean, I'm going to say the same thing.
2.5?
It was, for me, more than the in-ring product and everything, it was great and it was fun because it was a new concept. It was the giveaway of the house was amazing to me. It wasn't really, for me, about match quality with the show. It's just a really fun show to watch, and I would watch the show again.
Right, and something that I think the current product needs to take notes of is that when you watch this show, you just have fun watching it,
Yeah.
because there's a cohesive story told start to finish. You
I
have
agree.
the Brett stuff keep making appearances. You have the house looming in the background. The whole giveaways happening. You have multiple Sid packages and promos, and then Diesel promo, where the whole show just seemed like it was going in one direction, and
Yeah.
you could just sit
No, I
back and
agree.
enjoy the ride.
Production